Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Roast.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
Welcome to our new edition of Big Brother 28 live feed spoilers. And we have a lot to talk about when it comes to the state of the vote. Melody, you be doing stuff. I'm so proud of you.
Your girl's out here doing things.
I am happy. This is who I believed in pre-game. Now, I mean, we'll get into whether or not any of it's actually going to work. But okay, well, a little bit of a life update before we go too far into this video. As some of you may have noticed, I am wearing a different set of specs here. So here is a little bit of a story time. So
Felix apologizes.
yeah, listen, it was an accident. So if you guys are new to the channel, what often happens is if one of us is watching feeds, the other person is taking care of all the different life stuff. And like Jess was doing the feed watching this afternoon. So I was having a little bit of time with their son, Felix. And, you know, he calls me Uncle Moo.
Yeah, he can say uncle, he can say Matt, but he is Uncle Moo. And if anybody tries to call him Matt, he will correct you. So Moo.
I've come to accept it.
We all call him Moo now.
I find it endearing. I do not, but we were having some Uncle Moo time, and I was getting him ready to go to the backyard to have a little playtime in the shade because it is like 1,000,000 degrees right now in Temecula.
Yep.
So I'm like bending over, getting him some sunscreen on, getting him all prepared, and he jerks his head off. My glasses just go flying, and like my entire... I can't even remember what this is called anymore because I'm in just like delirium because of it. And it just like fell completely apart.
Yeah, so my husband is now downstairs trying to glue that back together for Moo.
Yeah, so with that in mind, now we will get into Big Brother 28 and everything that is going on. But before we go further, be sure to join our YouTube memberships because we have new Big Brother content exclusively there every week, including did D violate the rules of being a have-not this week in the house? What should the punishment be? What has the punishment been? Like, we get so far into all of that. It's a really fun discussion. And by joining our YouTube memberships, you really do help to support Jess and I and allow us to keep making this content for you. It really does mean the world.
We also have a new YouTube memberships video coming up this week for you guys, all about Big Brother. We are also covering Sugar Season 2 over there right now. It's the only place that you can get those videos. So thank you so much.
Thank you guys. That's so very appreciated. All right, we'll just start with the state of things when it comes to, we're on the other side of the veto ceremony.
Yep.
Jason is the replacement nominee. Lala is still there.
Yep.
Mallory is still there as well.
Yeah.
So Jason more than likely is going to go if he does not win the blockbuster. I mean, we'll get into the maybes and the possiblies as we go along here, but I think that's just a baseline. I think everybody knows he is in very big trouble.
He is in very big trouble. It is only Tuesday. I mean, tomorrow is, as Hamster Watch says, Waffle Wednesday, and sometimes things do change, but I don't know if this is going to change or not. But we do know that Jason wins competitions, and he could easily win this.
Yeah, and if you guys have watched, we want Jason to win this competition because, like, even though his gameplay is messy, even though I didn't love the stuff with Angela earlier, we need people to bring drama. And it's just like Lala is likely going to be safe no matter what. There's some variables there as well. And sort of conversely, I kind of want Lala to go because she's not really doing anything. Like, even as we talk about campaigns and stuff, she's still not really doing anything in the house. She's just kind of hanging back and having like personal chats.
Yeah, I think she just also realizes that Jason and Mallory are way bigger threats than her. Both of them are going to shake things up. Mallory has been pretty open about that, her going after the Survivor players. Jason wants to go over that whole side of the house. I think Lala needs to campaign. You know how we feel about it. If you're on the block, you need to put the work in. At the same time, though, is she likely going to go home? It's pretty unlikely if she's on the block.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot of different things happening, and that includes a lot of people who are not in the tool shed actually coming together, getting other people from the tool shed to jump over. It is just like a lot of different variables. But here comes Melody, and you know, I was not too kind to my favorite player in our videos yet because I just felt like she was being too passive. She wasn't really doing enough. And now that we're on the other side of the veto ceremony, maybe she's starting to be like, okay, I can do something now.
That's the thing. You have to wait until after that ceremony because Kami could have changed his mind. Be like, oh, you're doing too much over here, Melody. Welcome to the block.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. is reasonably aware enough to know she's not in the dominant alliance, so
Yep.
she could be put up at almost any given moment.
Yep.
But I think she also just looked at the board, kind of echoing what we were saying to you guys in our last update. And it is just like, if you are an underdog in the game right now and you have to be thinking about this other side has a lot of physical competitors, has a lot of people who have won a lot of competitions. Who do I want out there fighting for me moving forward in the game? Do I want Lala, who seems like, a nice enough person, but has also questioned whether or not she needs to be there, or Jason at this point?
Yeah, Jason has won competitions. Mallory has won competitions. Lala hasn't. And while, you don't have to win competitions to, win Big Brother,
Yeah.
you do have to be around people that are if you're going to get to the end of the game.
So Melody started her pitch, and I think we can call this the maybe we should save Jason pitch. And she talked about it with Yash, with Mallory, Lyric, and Barrett first and foremost.
Yeah.
And obviously, this would be assuming that Mallory wins the blockbuster because Mallory and Melody are close, despite, Melody pulling away from her at times.
Yep.
I don't think anything crazy is going to happen there. But,
No.
Mallory is a good competitor.
Yep.
If she wins the blockbuster, it's an interesting proposition. So she talked to these four, and I think she's already thinking in her mind, if I can get these four, that brings us to 5 people. You can have 6, but then Camus is going to be the tiebreaker, and you do not want Camus to be a tiebreaker in this particular situation.
You also don't want to have this conversation while Barrett is in the room because he does still have loyalty to his survivor crush, D, who went and told her immediately.
Yeah, that is the big problem, and that is why Melody, as much as I appreciate her trying, like, this is a near impossible situation for her, because in order to pull this off, she would need Barrett and also Drew to distance themselves enough from the tool shed to make this happen. And then she would also more than likely need Taylor, who has been very close to Lala, suddenly realizing, okay, you know what? I love Lala, but I want to win the game. Like, yeah,
Right.
she's close to Jason as well, and maybe that would be enough if the numbers are there, but it's a lot to try to pull through. And I think just unfortunately for Melody, and I mean, I don't blame her for this fully, but I don't think she recognizes still there is this blindness that Barrett has when it comes to D, and this fear that if he doesn't tell her something and she finds out about it magically from somebody else, like, that's going to be the biggest problem in the world for him.
This is the thing, Barrett and Drew, they were called out as the middlemen,
Yeah.
but they really aren't right now. While the two of them have been like, okay, we're going to be final twos, they're in the same alliance with the vets still.
Yes.
They haven't completely moved away from them. And while it seems like they're playing the middle and they are, gathering information, that information is still funneling back to the main alliance. They haven't left yet.
It feels a lot like, and this is so frustrating because it's like Barrett's someone who knows the game. And like, I understand this premise of you want to try to play it safe in the early going, make it the jury, blah, 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 blah. But it's also, Big Brother's a very fluid game. Things change, and you reach moments where you have to be a little bit bolder, because this feels a lot like him going to D almost as though like he has to ask her for permission and sort of be
I can't respect it. I can't.
please, D, can I do? And like, D is telling him sort of, oh, you can make this move. But it also felt like at the same time, she was giving him permission, because if he went ahead and made this move, it would be like a direct piece of evidence she could use against him later, so that she would have like this real justification of, you guys went against me now.
And the same for Barrett, like, open your eyes. The minute that she's like, you can make this move of you if you want, I'd be just like, are we not working together anymore? Like, this is kind of a weird thing for you to be like, sure, if you want to do that, you can do that, knowing that the rest of us are not interested in doing that. You do you. I'd be like, okay, I'm not part of anything anymore. I just brought you this information, and you're just kind of like, okay.
To me, this is the craziest part about all of this, is that, like, on paper, it would have been easy to be like, okay, Yash is just going to be the person who spills all this immediately, because it's like nobody knows where this guy's head is at
Right.
any point. And he does have this alliance with Devins, Barrett, and Drew, which is fake, but Yash, it's kind of the only thing he has. Like,
Right.
Yash is actually taking this pretty seriously. And I don't know if it's because multiple people have said the words tool shed in front of Yash without knowing it, or he's picked up on, he has started to realize a couple of things in this game. Now, Yash, if only you could talk to women and trust women within the Big Brother house, like maybe we would actually be getting somewhere here. But no, it just feels like this plan is ultimately, for now, going to fall apart because Barrett feels the need to go back and share all this information.
And I actually feel like, they're going to be needing Drew's vote on this as well. This is not the time. He's not ready to actually make that move away from this alliance. Like I said, I don't feel that these two are the middlemen at this point. They are still actually part of this alliance.
Yeah, and Barrett had a conversation with Drew about this where he went into everything that was going on, and Drew heard him out, and Drew was basically just like, no. And his reasoning, and I do understand this reasoning, like it may be frustrating for me, but I do get it, is the ghost of Keanu is still dungeon mastering his way through the Big Brother house. And I think they're very worried that, all right, if Jason loses the blockbuster, we have this opportunity to get rid of him and we don't take it, he's going to magically win his way really, really far in the game. And he is very unreliable and untrustworthy. Like, is that really a good idea?
Yeah, but if you're working with him, then it's going to be okay, Drew. He isn't the exact same as Keanu, where he was really, yes, unreliable, but also he was unreliable to himself, that he didn't know where he was going to be at any moment in this game. And Jason isn't like that. Jason feels like he concretely knows where he wants to be in this game and the people that he would like to be able to play with and how he wants to get there. He's messy about it, but he does have a plan. And I feel like if you're actually in with Jason, then you're in with Jason.
Well, that's the thing. Keanu, bless his heart, he is one of the most delusional people in the history of Big Brother. Keanu probably still thinks right now that he can work with Rachel and find an alliance, and like they can get him, but then he'll hate her.
You can do it. You go off.
But no, I don't think Jason is delusional like that. Like, Jason has problems, but his problems are very different than what Keanu's were. And I think the other thing is that Jason knows the people he cannot work with at this point in the game. Like, he's not going to go back to Camus. It's just sort of like he is saying whatever he has to say publicly when it comes to, oh, maybe I can work with Camus. Maybe I can work with this person, that person, because if he stays and one of those people wins HOH, like, everyone is operating on fear in this house right now. He doesn't have any other choice.
That's why if we do end up having him stay and we do get a Jason HOH out of this, even though Devins has got his Diamond Power Veto going to come and just all of it to pieces, it still could put Jason in a better spot where, I don't know about Barrett. I'm kind of lost on Barrett at this point, but Drew specifically may be able to be swayed or build up actual trust because, Jason has lost a lot of trust with the fake crying with Angela and some other things that he's done where people are kind of like, why lie about that? It didn't actually help your game in any way. And usually if you're lying in this game, which everybody is, you're lying to get an advantage and to move forward in this game, not just for ha-has. That's unusual. It happens, but it's unusual.
There is a lot of hope for Drew to figure some things out because, like, a lot of stuff where Drew is, it's like he's one or two conversations away from actually putting everything together and really making the move. It's just like we're dependent on other people having these conversations, and that's kind of like, all right, well, then they need to be bold enough to actually try to find a way to figure all of this out.
Yeah, I mean, the big alliance is keeping them around for numbers right now, even though they're not really working with them anymore. But, Drew and Barrett, they just don't know.
So going into this morning, I still felt like hopeful that's all right, maybe Drew is going to come around, like maybe Melody can really find a way to convince them, but like unfortunately she started to backpedal a little bit on the Save Jason plan today, and this is where production, we got to have a talk. So they had a conversation, Melody and Drew. They didn't give us all of it on the feeds. Like, we don't actually know everything that was said here.
Listen, you guys just need to get into the showmance, because once you get into the showmance, Melody, you might be able to actually bring Drew over and away from what is going on. Just start dating.
something, anything to get Drew to listen to this a little bit more, because whatever happened here, yeah, Melody is of this vantage point, like, all right, this is probably not going to happen. She still needs to indulge Jason. Like, you do still want to get on his good side, because, like, I think we're both still hopeful Jason's going to win this blockbuster. I mean, if you were going to ask me who I think is going to win it, yeah, I'm going to say Jason, because this is the one thing he does have in common with Keanu. It's not just about physicality, but it is sort of this rare ability to be really calm under pressure. And that was just the funny thing about Keanu doing the Michael Myers thing, just wandering his way through these challenges and always winning. It's just like, he doesn't get nervous, and Jason doesn't get nervous either.
Absolutely, he doesn't. And that's why, I feel like if this is something that he can take his time with and continue to have that frame of mind, he can win this. It's not saying that Mallory can't, because she is also won a veto, right? She hasn't won nothing, and Jason has also won. So it's possible.
Now, where things get very, very tricky this week is the situation where Jason wins the blockbuster, and then it is Mallory versus Lala, because this is where Drew and Barrett are willing to have a little bit more of an opinion and being a little bit less of, because they have a relationship with Mallory. And, Melody and Mallory obviously have a relationship as well. Like, they've already tried to have some conversations. I mean, Mallory even went and talk to Dee, and by the end of this conversation, I don't know if this is Mallory gaming or if this is just Dee finding a way to mist her, but Mallory all of a sudden is cooling off on her I want to go at the Survivor players at all costs situation here.
Yeah, and I mean, that might be something that Dee would look at, but I would really hope, listen, if anything is going to work out this week, please just let Lala go home, because Mallory and Jason both can win competitions. They are on the other side of the house. Maybe Mallory is misted for right now, but she will get over it. Once she's in some sort of power, I feel like she is going to take those shots. And that might be the thing that at least brings Drew over. I've lost all my hope with Barrett now, and it was small to begin with. As I've been saying, if Dee was ever just like, hello, Barrett, he would be there. And this whole situation, same thing. He just had this conversation, ran to Dee.
Here's a really funny thing that you literally just reminded me of, because there's so much feed content sometimes it's easy for things to just go. But Dee at one point over the last 24 hours was like, Barrett isn't hugging me as much as he used to. And it's just like,
shocking. You told him to basically stop.
Yeah, but it is like these sort of moments of awareness. It's like, okay, well, Dee is going to find a way to rope him back in.
That's right.
Because like Dee is just, she's so good at this. And like, this is the embarrassing thing for Big Brother right now, where it is these two Survivor players are just outplaying everybody else, including the Big Brother returnees, whose faux pas we're going to get into a little bit later. It's just like, Big Brother people, stand up for yourselves here.
Listen, Dee, I felt that Dee made a huge mistake pushing Barrett away, being like, we got to cool it out a little bit. Hey, my type is actually looking more like Kamu. Hey, your type, Mallory over there, you should go start hanging out with her. It all pushed him away. But I really believe that, with Dee sort of kind of rethinking this, you can bring him back without him like, sitting in your lap. Like, you can bring him back just enough that he'll stick around, and he will.
Yeah, and I think Dee is also smart enough to realize that, this whole red corner group, it works for her to some extent, especially with Kamu being a big target coming out of the tea party. But it's also just like, you want to give yourself options down the road, because you don't want those three people, Haley, Chuck, and Kamu, just being together for the entirety of this game. Like, that does pose an eventual problem for you.
It absolutely does.
Okay, now let's just get into Angela.
Listen, what Angela did, I'm not trying to give her a pass or anything. I'm definitely not. But like, so many people have basically done this in the house in the past few weeks. It's wild.
Angela just needs to stop talking. This is Angela's biggest problem always, is that she gets paranoid about things that do not matter. She makes up things that do not exist. Like, she has made up a rivalry with Drew that may end up with Drew going far before he should, for no real reason other than just like Angela is losing it because he's done what she asked him to do.
Right.
So she has had a conversation with Kamu talking about how Drew wants to target Red Corner. Here's the problem. Drew's not supposed to know about Red Corner. And like, she completely screws this up. She loses her mind on the other side of it. It's just like scrambling around the house, panicking, because like if you guys remember, as we've told you, Angela herself isn't supposed to know about Red Corner. Like she only knows because of Haley, who had to go and admit to Camus, I'm sorry, this happened.
Yeah, but I'm sure this will all be Drew's fault that she spilled in it.
It kind of is. Like that is just the hilarious but just like truly shameful thing about all of this is like Angela just makes this mistake. Like in a perfect world, you would be like, all right, well, this is all gonna come back on her. And I mean, she's getting some of this information just because of Drew complaining to Dee about how he just can't stand Chuck and Haley, and that's a pretty common sentiment from a lot of people in the house. But you know how Big Brother telephone works.
Right.
It goes from one person to the next person to the next. Like, I do think people are going to get sick of Angela eventually. It's just kind of a matter of when. Like, my favorite moment of all of this is just it's the middle of the night. Here is Devin just trying to mind his business, and then Angela just comes up to him. It's like, deny the crossovers, deny it was okay. I'm not saying it's full Big Brother 16 Devin, which if you guys know, this is like Nirvana for the two of us.
Know.
Him like kicking people out of the bomb squad in the middle of the night is like Big Brother history. But her just like randomly yelling out plans to Devin, it's just like she is losing it. And as much as Devin's likes, big, bold moves, like this is a guy who he's kind of gotten a little more accustomed to the pace of Big Brother, and he has set himself up really, really well.
He likes big moves that are well thought out. He's not typically here doing this type of thing where, he's dealing with an alliance member that is scrambling because she made a mistake, because she's paranoid over, this, what she thinks is a back and forth with Drew, where Drew doesn't even realize that he's having some sort of like problem with her. She's only having a problem with him. Devins, I know that you want to go far with these two, with Angela and Dee, and I know like Dee's your number one or whatever, but Dee is really close to Angela, and Angela is difficult to bring along with you because she is messy, she's forgetful. You guys are probably going to have to cut her if it comes around to it, where it's like, oh, the other side of the house has power, Diamond Vito isn't around anymore, they're putting up Angela, maybe it's time to let that happen.
That's the thing. I do wonder if that's something Devins, even with the Diamond of Power of Vito, would eventually consider. It's kind of like, I wonder, we know that, he would use it to save Dee, and he might use it to save somebody else, but here's the one benefit of this dumb advantage lasting for 6 weeks. It's like, if something happens and one of these people gets targeted early, like, will Devins then be like, this could still be useful for me or Dee down the road? Like, do I really want to stick my neck out for these people?
Yeah, and who's he really going to stick his neck out for? It's not going to be Drew or Barrett, because he knows that his number one and Angela are totally not down with that anymore, so they're not going to get it. Angela is loyal to them, but is definitely somebody who can unravel their whole plans, not on purpose, but it happens and it's happening. So I feel like he may not use that on Angela. It really feels like the only people he will use it on is himself or Dee. I can't see him using it on anybody in the red corner. They all just came together for the tool shed, but it's still like you've got Angela saying, oh, the red corner. So there's still two different groups, even though they're together. So it really does feel like Devins is going to keep it, because it is 6 weeks, to ensure that he is in the game for 6 weeks and Dee is in the game for 6 weeks. Angela's expendable. I believe it.
I believe it too. And like, this is the part I really don't understand. And we haven't done this that much this season, but actually try to look at the game from Angela's point of view, because like, I know she's over the top and all that, but I want to believe she still has a personal plan, and I don't understand what she's doing long term. Like, I really don't, because what do you think is going to happen? You're going to go to the final two with Dee and think that Dee isn't going to go with Dev? Because this is the complicated thing, and this is another reason to just like, yell at production as much as you want, because it's like, these two are not just Survivor alum, but they played on the same season. They were a part of the same jury. And like, they actually have a relationship outside the game. Like, that makes it very, very different when it comes to whether or not they're going to want to take each other. So Angela, who do you want to go to the end with?
None of them are taking Angela, unless they really are just like, I don't want to sit up there with the best. I just want the money, so I'll take Angela.
So from a Kamu point of view, like this is what I'm also really interested in moving forward is that, people are throwing Drew under the bus to him and all this information is coming out. Now we know we've talked about this. Kamu doesn't necessarily want to take Drew to the end, but I still think he
Right.
wants to have some sort of use long term for Drew. And I think what Drew's own blind spot is at this point is that he has this bond with Kamu. He's got like this Mr. Beast connection with Devins, and
Yep.
I think he is really relying on those relationships and this relationship that he has with Barrett, that he's not seeing the forest through the trees of how much Dee and Angela are worried about him and wanting to get him out. Like he knows, we've talked about it, they are talking about being paranoid and not trusting him, but this is just like on another level.
I think the other issue is Drew doesn't realize that he doesn't actually have his number one because both Drew and Kamu have said, yeah, we're each other's number ones, but not really. But if they needed to be, I think they would be, but not really. Kamu has his other number ones. Devin's number one is D.
Yeah.
Barrett is saying he's the number one, but the minute that D is like, hey, come on back, he's gone. Drew is really in a really tough spot because he has been trying to build these relationships to go to the end with people, and none of them are taking it seriously enough.
No, and he has not been able to realize that. And I think my concern is nobody is going to tell him until it's too late because it's like Kamu.
I think Melody will once they start to actually share more information, and she could be the actual number one.
Yeah, and this is where this week is hugely, hugely important for Drew. And I'm not just trying to exaggerate this because I feel like if he does not vote with Melody, like, if Melody is abandoning the whole Jason plan at this point, but if Drew does vote to get rid of Mallory and sides with the tool shed, like, I don't know if there is repairing anything with Melody at this point because it's going to be, okay, you clearly didn't choose me, so you're not really, like, I think he really is going to have to pick a side this week unless it is a situation where Mallory wins Blockbuster and then Jason just goes, but he may actually have to figure this out now.
Yeah, I think he is in a very tough spot. I think next week is going to be very interesting to see what happens to him if he's not HOH.
Okay, so we have a couple of interesting odds and ends to get to before we wind down this video. Like, let's talk a little bit more about the power situation. Who really knows? Who does not know? I mean, everyone has guessed that Devins has it in some form or whatever, but like Drew is almost 100% confident he is now, and a lot of it is just because of the reaction that Devins had at the tea party when Jason just sort of insinuated he had the power because he was looking right at Devins when he said it.
Absolutely, and he does. So, I mean, it's hard to be called out and just be able to kind of pull that lie out.
Now, there is a real debate that's been going on social media the past 24 hours about whether or not Angela 100% knows because, like, really, really late at night, she and Dee were in the backyard.
Yep.
They were talking. They were having this conversation. And at one point, there's multiple voices on the live feed microphone, so it's hard to pick everything up. But it sounds like she's saying, "Thank you, America, for the power," and then mentions Devins. And so either a couple of things have happened here. Either she just slipped up, Angela missed it because she was in the midst of her meltdown about Kamu and all of that. Angela was tired, or Angela heard it, internalized it, and actually kept some information to herself.
Yeah, because she just didn't react.
Yeah, I think the other thing, and Angela has said this a little bit in the past, is just that she kind of assumes that Devins or Dee are going to have a power, and she's not too worried about it right now because it's like she's aligned with them. And so she feels like it's probably not going to be used to hurt me, at least right now. And if you know Big Brother, yes, sometimes these powers, like this one, last way too long, but they're rarely ever going to like the final 4 or final 5 or anything crazy like that. Okay, so the last major thing here, since we haven't talked about her at all in this video, we'll have a little bit of a Lyric update because I do want to come down on some people online who are making some not so nice comments about Lyric. So Lyric is flirting, of course, with more people, flirting a little bit with Yash, but she's also told Mallory she is in love with Rome. I have seen her sleeping with Rome's sweatshirt. It's just like, yeah, is she maybe leading some guys on? Yes. But this is Big Brother. Why are we all of a sudden like coming to like, how terrible of a person Lyric is for flirting with people in the game.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people flirt in this game. We've seen it across the board for all these seasons. It's part of gameplay.
Yeah.
We've seen it on Survivor. We've seen it on multiple reality shows. She has just met Rome, and while she is feeling like she's in love, it is love at first sight.
Yes.
I love love. You two kids go off. I hope that this all works out
Yes,
for you.
of course.
If she is in here having a little bit of flirtation, and if Rome is maybe okay with that, then why should she not be trying to stay in the game? She's not like going and making out with somebody and laying in bed with them. Like, she has not been doing any of
No.
that. So yeah, guys, just it'll be all right.
Yeah.
It'll be all right. We're not all that invested in Lyrics, so like,
Yes.
just let her be.
I am not going to sit here and be all that mindful of whether or not Yasha's feelings get hurt, because I've heard Yash talk about some women over the season, and I'm just like, all right, Yash,
Yes.
if you get hurt, you get hurt. Chuck, I'm sorry. You are the biggest nothing burger on the season right now when it comes to content, so you're just not really giving me anything either.
Here's the other thing about it. If anybody is hurt or getting their feelings hurt because Lyric is flirting with them and you are believing it,
Yeah.
you guys saw with your own eyes Rome kiss her and dip her and be like, we are in love. And she did not deny any of it. So, this is just the way that it is.
Yeah.
You guys all know.
Yes, it's your fault. I cannot.
It is.
Okay, well, that is where we are coming out of this Big Brother 28 live feed spoilers. Do you guys still have any hope that Melody may go back to this plan, that there is a way to save Jason if he does not win the blockbuster? Let us know and join our YouTube memberships for that discussion on D. She broke the have-not rules, what that means. Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
support, and we will see you here next time.